Welcome back to the channel, guys, and oh my god, I cannot believe I figured this out. I got a huge update when it comes to It, Welcome to Derry, the prequel series for Pennywise the Clown, and I can't believe I figured this out. This blew my mind. Just earlier I did a video about breaking down all the footage and behind the scenes, and I did a lot more digging, and I cannot believe I figured this out. Two things I want to talk about is the whole 1908 event, which throughout Chapter 1, Chapter 2, they sprinkled it in, and Bowers. Yes, Bowers is going to play a huge part in this prequel, and I'm going to break it down and a lot more Easter eggs connecting Chapter 1, Chapter 2. Please stick around because you're going to enjoy this, I promise you.
Is this heaven? No. It's Iowa.
Near Lake Okoboji.
Oka what?
Boji. Okoboji.
Man, I don't even know where to start because I have literally so many notes. But let's talk about the timeline for just a second, just to bring you guys up to date. Because remember, 27 years, that's his time frame when he goes to sleep, hibernates, comes back alive. And of course, in Chapter 1 and 2, it takes place, in 1988, 89. So 27 years behind that would be 1961 and 1962. That is what this story is going to be taking place. Again, I did a whole video just the other day breaking down all about that stuff, but I was so tunnel vision in this whole 60 time frame where I didn't even think about other stuff, because this is an origin story for Pennywise, and we all know Pennywise did not start in the 60s yet. He's been around for a million of years, but he hasn't been the clown for millions of years. I'm gonna break that all down to you guys, but the whole 1908 is the key factor in this whole thing, because I'm telling you guys, we're gonna have a big flashback dealing with 1908. And the reason why I bring up 1908, because when they were coming out with people to, it's called a casting sheet, a casting call, however you want to look at it, is they're looking for people to be in this thing. And one of it was called Young Rose to do a flashback for 1908. And I was like, wait a second, Rose, that looked familiar, right? Boom. This is where it comes from. This antique shop, when Bill gets his bike, that's the shop that Rose is named after. One with Stephen King, he did his whole cameo. But the 1908, that is the biggest part, because I'm going to show you guys all these little Easter eggs, all these posters, not posters, but pictures throughout the movie that shows this whole timeline for the 1908. So let's take another step back, because again, the 27 years, like I said, in the 60s, well, if you do another 27 years, that'll be the 1934, 1935. 27 years before that is 1907, 1908. So boom. We're exactly in the timeline for Pennywise, so it all matches up. And look at all these pictures I'm going to show you guys. Because throughout Chapter 1, it was mostly Chapter 1, you see these pictures of all these children, and they're doing this Easter egg hunt. And the next page shows them that there was an explosion, and all these children died. 88 of them, and 102, so of course the adults died. And we know what Pennywise is, he likes to cover his tracks. He likes to do this stuff around a major event, so it seems like this is what really killed the children. But it really was Pennywise. For example, in Chapter 1 and 2, he used Henny Bowers as a scapegoat for all the murders. But this one scene is very, very crucial in Chapter 2 that is going to be taking place in the prequel, because we're getting flashbacks to 1908. And when Beverly went to go to her old place, in that Miss Kirsch scene with the old lady, she's naked in the background, still gets me going. But if you pay attention to the wall, because we all know there's that famous part of that scene is when she's looking at the picture, and it shows that is the origins of Pennywise when she said, "My father was in the circus." But if you go just before that, that is another Easter egg I want to talk about, because in the casting call, there was actually, I don't know why I wrote this down, but I just wrote this down, and it was, I remember for the casting call, it was two white women, twins, in their 50s and 60s. And I'm like, okay, I didn't really think much about it, but then I saw this scene, and boom.
He didn't ask for a handout the way the people come in here.
That is what Beverly is looking at right there on the wall. Two twins, white, in their 50s and 60s. So we're definitely going to figure out something about those twins right there. So it'll be a huge part in this whole thing. And Bill Skarsgård, we know he's coming back, but he wasn't announced. Okay, one step back. This filming of season 1 was cut in half because the writer's strike and the actor's strike. They filmed the first part, they took a pause, came back and finished it. Bill Skarsgård wasn't announced till after the strikes, after all that stuff. So They filmed a lot of stuff without Bill Skarsgård, but I'm telling you guys, when we see Bill Skarsgård, it's going to be a while before we see him as the clown. Because remember, it's about the origins of Pennywise, not origins of it. It's the origins of him becoming the clown. And in that scene with the Kirsch, talks about, Miss Kirsch talked about her father coming to America with only $14 in his pocket. That is Bob Gray. That is the name of Bob Gray. When I looked him up for Pennywise, it shows like all of the people that he has like, pretended to be. And sure enough, Bob Gray was one of them. We saw that little scene with Bill Skarsgård as Bob Gray. I'm telling you guys, we're going to get a big flashback with this Bob Gray as Bill Skarsgård as himself before we even get close to Pennywise the Clown. If I can just borrow you guys time for 20 seconds, this is not a sponsor. This is about children that need our help. These are children that have cancer, leukemia, all the bad stuff, and it's kill. I'm from Iowa. We have a children's hospital. If you watch any of the Iowa football games during the first quarter, we did the Iowa wave to the children in the hospital. They deserve all the stuff. And I just want to say, guys, in the description box below, I have a link for description where you can donate. And that's all I want to say, guys, because I absolutely love Iowa and I love what they're doing with the Iowa children. So please, if you have money and you want to donate, go to the description box, give it to them. Do not give it to me. And we actually seen a little Easter egg in this in chapter 1, because when they go break that beer bottle, it's called Bob's Gray. Another little hint at this guy. All right, I want to talk about another thing that blew my mind, and because I did a lot of there's some videos out there of behind the scenes. There's people going around where they filmed it. And, man, it shows so much more when you just pay attention. Because there's one scene of the police station, and it says Chief Bowers. We all know Henry Bowers was the main punk, and his father was a dick. So my question was, this has to be related. So I did a little more digging. And in chapter 1, chapter 2, Henry Bowers, his father is Officer Oscar Butch Byers. So that is not Chief Byers. Most likely this is going to be Henry's grandfather. And this is going to explain a lot when it comes to why the Bowers hate African Americans so fucking much in this movie. Because in chapter 1, chapter 2, you can tell Henry Bowers and his dad do not like black people at all. And it's that has to start from somewhere. And we know in the book, Henry's father had a beef with Mike Hanlon's father because they were neighbors, they were farmers. Mike Hanlon's father, Henry, the one that died in the fire. I did explain all that in my other video, so check that out. They had a beef with each other. But I think that's more of the novel and not the video from chapter 1, chapter 2, or this thing. But there's definitely some history. And I'm assuming Chief Bowers is going to be not a good character. I'm going to say he's not going to be a good character. And just think about the casting. James Remare, he is going to be one of the main people starting roles in this prequel series. And my God, he looks just like Henry Bowers. So I'm assuming this guy is going to play Chief Bowers and he's going to play a key role in this. And I have a bad feeling he's not going to be good. And looking behind all the scenes, the police is going to play a big part of this because they show the cops. There's a police station, and there's even a poster that's saying stop, a search area. So the police are actually searching people. And we know in chapter 1, when they talk about the 1962 black spot, it was I don't know if there's blaming it on someone else or Pennywise, but the kids think it was a cult that burned that nightclub. And I would not be surprised if Chief Bowers has anything to do with that. Now we know in chapter 2, Henry Bowers has a cousin, Connor Bowers. He was in that flashback scene with Richie, when he's trying to play pinball, or not pinball, but the games, arcades with him. And he's like, I'm not gay type, that whole scene, which really was hard to watch. That cousin of his grandfather is going to be this Chief Bowers that we see in the prequel series. But this cousin was moved out of town. So I don't know if his family moved out of town due to the 60s. And it's like, yo, shit happened in the 60s. Let's peace out. And they were smart enough. But his, Henry Bowers and his father stayed. So there might be something with that also. All right, let's talk about the Native Americans in this, because I've realized the Native Americans are going to be a huge part of this, because when I look at the casting, there's quite a few handful of Native Americans in this. And when we do a lot of chapter 1, chapter 2, Easter egg hunts, the Native Americans have a prominent story in this. And I believe they're going to be doing it because there's one character that is called Chief John Bear. And I don't know if that's going to be staying, I don't know if that name is going to stick or not. But again, when I talk about the young Rose that was doing a flashback in 1980, she is a Native American. So we're definitely going to see a lot of that because we all know the Native Americans, they were part of Derry before the white settlers. And the story goes like in the early days, 18th century, that the Native Americans, their kids were getting taken, just like any other people. And the natives, they were smart. They pieced out. They went to the outskirts of Derry where Pennywise can't get them. So in 1719, that's when the white settlers came. And you see the Easter egg in chapter 1 when Ben is doing his little history lesson in his bedroom. You can see all right there, he talks about the town charter, how the 91 people vanished.
91 people signed the charter that made Derry, but later that winter, they all disappeared without a trace.
So Pennywise literally took out all the white settlers, and he realized, man, I need to do better than that. I can't just take out the whole town. I need to like keep them alive, keep them going. And I thought that was a nice Easter egg, and I would not be surprised if we see any of that. But back to the Native Americans. I know that Chief John Bear, there's something to do with him being like the head person, like the head of the council, and he has beef with the military, because we'll get more into that because there's some pictures that I broke down talking about this one character, and clearly he's wearing a military uniform. And the story goes, the military has a secret bunker doing secret projects, and it's in that area. And these kids go looking in that bunker looking for their kid. Yeah, it's kind of like a Stranger Things, but where do you think Stranger Things get their stuff from? It. So these kids go in this military bunker, and the Native Americans are upset because the military is digging on their land, so they're having beef with that. So I know we're gonna have something to do with that. And of course, just like the other Stephen King movie, Pet Sematari's Bloodline, they really dug into that Native American backstory and all that good stuff. So I'm assuming we're gonna go exactly that same route. All right, let's do some Easter eggs. I found some Easter eggs, guys. This is pretty cool. So during behind the scenes footage, I noticed this guy, they went around town and did all the stuff, and they're definitely bringing back a lot of establishments that we saw in chapter 1, chapter 2, and let's dive right into it. So the first one I noticed was this whole the Asian restaurant Jade Oriental, and of course in chapter 2, that's where they came back and met, so they're gonna bring that back. The movie theater, the Capitol, if you notice in this, I don't know why it says closed, but because we all saw that in chapter 1 in the background, and of course in chapter 2 you see when Eddie was walking to town. So I don't know if that's just going to be there, or we're going to have actually a movie scene like we did in the miniseries for 1990. Drugstore, we all remember that one creepy scene. Well, it was actually kind of funny at first, when Beverly's trying to buy tampons and she's all embarrassed. That pharmacy, we're definitely going to see more about that, because just looking at the behind the scenes right here, it says right here, Kenneth's. If you look right here on the screen, the glass, it says Kenneth's, however you want to say his fucking name. But it's backwards, but you can clearly tell that it's the same pharmacy as was before. Alright, some information that I do know for a fact is the first season is going to be 9 episodes long. And, well, it took them 237 days, shooting days, to make season 1. That's how big this season is, and I cannot wait. And supposedly the 3rd episode is called Now You See It. So if that's true, the 3rd episode is going to be the first time where you actually see it. And I really hope that's not going to be it as the clown, because like, man, 3 episodes in and we're already seeing the clown. Like, yeah, I want to see Pennywise and Bill Skarsgård, but I don't want to see the clown that early. I really want a good lead up to Pennywise the clown. We all know that Andy Muschietti is coming back, as he directed chapter 1, chapter 2. He is going to be executive producer, and he's also directing the very first 4 episodes. So we're in good hands, guys. We are in very good hands. His sister Barbara, she is back also. She's an executive producer for chapter 1, chapter 2. They make a great duo, guys. But that is it for... Oh, no. I lied. A few more things. So I noticed around town that there was these missing children, poster boards, and I looked through every single one to figure out the dates. And sure enough, we got October 31st, 1959, which is Halloween. A kid gets taken away on Halloween. That's crazy. We have August 9th, 1960, September 30th, 1959, and we have May 17th, 1961. So 59 to 61 is the time frame, and we all know the black spot happened in 1962. So I'm assuming, 59 all the way to 62 is going to be the time frame. That is your 3-year gap for Pennywise. And we have the last thing I want to talk about is this picture of Paul Bunyan's monument is being built in 1962, because in chapter 1, chapter 2, we all know Paul Bunyan, all that good stuff. That was made in 1962 for some reason. I don't know if that has really much to do about it or if that's just a nice little Easter egg, but yeah, that is it for all the breakdowns for everything I know so far for it. Welcome to Derry. Again, I did another video that has a lot of good stuff in that, guys, too, so please check that out. But I'm gonna keep digging. I could not believe I figured all of this out in just one day by just digging in, but I'll do what I can because I love this stuff.